Hello and welcome. My name is Jankarius and I'm making this video as a intro to Star Citizen for a few of my friends. So when you first log into the game, you will be on this screen, and the first thing you're going to go do is go to Persistent Universe. It will immediately have you enter character generation. This doesn't particularly matter, so I've just hit random a few times and then I chose to be a blonde punk. Here, your only option is the stand system. The next choice you'll be making is where you actually are going to live. I don't advise choosing Orison, as your computer will cry. Lorville is one of the two places I recommend for starting out this adventure in Star Citizen. The other option that I would consider is New Babbage. You are choosing between a industrial dystopia and a Apple computing style dystopia. The other option would be Area 18, but it may also be too intensive for lower end computers. For this tutorial, I'm going to start in Lorville as it has been most recently updated. When your game finishes loading, you will be in a bed. Press and hold the Y key to get out of bed. This will work for every bed and chair in the game. Once you have exited the bed, you are going to head out of your apartment. When you approach the door, it should open automatically, but if it doesn't, press F while looking at the green open button. You will find yourself in a block of similar apartments. Find and use the elevator, head down to the lobby. Keep in mind that with the elevator menu, you can scroll, but the lobby choice should always be visible. In order to scroll or to otherwise deeply interact with objects, hold the F key and then you will be zoomed in once you have pointed your mouse at the object, and you may scroll up and down using the mouse wheel. Make your way to the spaceport by following the signs to the tram. Once you are in the spaceport, you will see there are two main areas of interest here. The first is the New Deal shipyard. You may go there and purchase new ships using in-game currency. Pretty much every ship that's currently flyable is available. As with other stores, you may buy by interacting with the display if you have enough money to do so. Our other item of interest here is the terminals here, called ASOP terminals. This will be how you retrieve your ships and actually get to fly them. You can interact with them with F as usual. Other players can see your ship menu and they can push your buttons, but they can't actually call your ships. Once you press retrieve, your ship will be spawned in a hangar. It will tell you which hangar. You will then proceed to the elevators nearby and use the menu in order to access that hangar. On your way to the hangar, you will encounter the ship rental terminal on your right if you're coming in from Lorville as in the video. The rental terminal is exactly what it sounds like. For a in-game currency price, you may rent pretty much any ship in the game. These ship rental times are based on real-life time, not based on in-game time. The price is scaled based on the ship, and you cannot customize the ship if it is stuck with a stock loadout. This is an Aurora MR. This is the most common starter ship in the game. It is pretty much a flying brick by appearance, but it is actually quite fast and agile in space. I'm going to take a quick walk around it so you can kind of get a look at the ship. Once we are ready to go inside, we can approach the doors on either side and hold F. We select the enter ship option. We will do the ship entry animation. You will enter the seat the same way you enter every other seat in the game by pressing F. The ship will be initially powered off. We correct that by pressing R. The U key will power it back down in the event you need to do that, and I will toggle engines. Next, we need permission to take off. We will get that by pressing F1 in order to call our mobiGlas and then selecting the COM link. Under the friends selection, we will see an option for ATC. The specific name will be different in each station. This can also be bound to a hotkey, but it's not by default. Above us, you will see the hangar doors opening. If you need to see yourself in third person, press F4. While in this mode, pressing the Z key will allow you to rotate the camera independently without controlling the ship or character. Once off the ground, press N to raise or lower your landing gear as appropriate. On the left side of the HUD, you will see a velocity indicator. The box indicates a speed limiter. You may raise this by mouse wheeling up or mouse wheeling down. Pressing C will enter cruise control mode. When not in cruise control mode, WASD, spacebar, and control are your normal movement keys. First thing we want to do is head up into the air. There is a minimum altitude to use quick travel, the exact value of which varies by planet. Once we've reached above 12,000 meters, we will press B to access the quantum travel mode. In this mode, you will see numerous icons appear on your HUD. We are looking around for Everest Harbor, which as a space station will have a square icon. Orbital points will have diamonds. Outposts and bunkers will have hexagons. Cities with spaceports will have a square with a triangular bottom. Note that generally speaking, quantum targets on the surface of a planet may be reached even if you are on the opposite side of the planet. In most cases, your ship will automatically orbit the planet in quantum in order to reach the target. Be aware also there is a bug with certain locations, most commonly orbital stations, where you will come out of quantum a distance away from the station, anywhere from 71 to 400 kilometers. If this occurs, simply reorient on the station and reactivate your quantum drive and you should arrive within 20 to 30 kilometers. Next, I'm going to show you how to set your medical spawn point. Whenever you are killed, you will respawn at a location determined by this setting. In order to get medical care, including setting your imprint, go to one of these clinics and access the terminal at the front. Request a room. Not all stations have medical facilities, but every major Earth city does, and most space stations. Once you're in the room, you can either access the bed or the terminal in front of it. The bed will heal you of all conditions currently, including hunger, thirst, any kind of drug overdose, etc. Setting your spawn location is done through the regeneration menu. However, first I'm going to look around at the medical interface just so you can see the diagnosis window. You can also use this window to experiment with drugging yourself. Alright, now that we're ready to set our imprint, we will go back to the regeneration menu. Then it's as simple as selecting move our imprint to this location. If for any reason the location is unavailable, we will always default back to our primary residence location, and we can always revert back to our primary residence location from any other location. Alright, next we're heading to the window in order to get a view while we mess with our inventory. As you might expect, our inventory menu is accessed by pressing the I key. You will initially see the local inventory on the right. The local inventory comprises of every item you've bought at that location or brought to that location. To equip things, click and drag them from the local inventory onto your character. If the item can be equipped, you will see a small blue circle. You also usually see a hand icon. This represents putting the item directly into your hand. I'm going to go ahead and put on a full suit of heavy armor and some weapons and ammo. You will notice as I do so that we are gaining additional sections. These represent the pockets of the gear. Items can be stored in the pockets for transport, although they are not accessible via hotkey. For example, I can't draw a gun that I'm keeping in my pocket even if it fits there. These weapon slots that I am currently attaching things to are, however, accessible by hotkey. Short version, if you want to use an item during combat, make sure it is visible on your character. This includes ammo that you're going to need to reload with your weapons. Each type of armor can only carry a certain number of utility and ammo slots. As a general rule, the heavier the armor, the more slots. As I equip these items, notice that every single one of them is actually physically appearing on my character. This means you can always tell at a glance how heavily armed and ready for combat somebody is. There is one major other inventory tab that I didn't show here, and that is the vehicle tab. Whenever you are on board a ship, or on board a ground-based vehicle with passenger space, you will see an additional tab with vehicle. The carrying capacity of any vehicle is of course based on its size, and single-seat craft like fighters cannot actually have this access. That is to say, you cannot store a whole bunch of extra equipment in your fighter, land, and get out and use it. Now that we know how to get into our inventory, let's get a job. Press F1 to access your Mobiglass, and then go to the Contracts Management section. As you can see, there are several tabs and categories. Don't get overwhelmed by the names because, fundamentally, these are combat, exploration, and cargo. Jobs found under the Personal tab are not sanctioned by the UEE government. They may or may not be illegal, but often are. Bounty hunting and mercenary missions are effectively always combat. Within the mercenary category, there is a contract called Call to Arms. Accept this immediately every time as soon as you log in. This contract awards you for any character, NPC or PC, killed at the crime stat that is not directly the target of your mission. As you might expect, delivery missions are cargo delivery. Search are often cargo delivery with a timer. In this particular case, if you don't make the timer, the cargo explodes. Investigation missions require you to go to a site. This can be located on a planet or in space, and can be a cave, a shipwreck, and possibly a few other options. Once you are there, you will have to either find a body, or a particular piece of cargo, or the ship's black box. The mission description will tell you which. ECN combat alerts are defend a NPC defender, except for sometimes it is an ambush. Either way, it still boils down to go to a place, kill everyone there. Maintenance missions are cargo, where you go and chunk the cargo into space. Beacons are a form of player-generated mission where a player can request assistance and offer a particular payment value. Contracts will often affect your character's reputation in the verse. This can be viewed under the Delphi option on the Moby Glass. Many higher paying missions are locked behind higher levels of reputation, particularly in the Bounty Hunters Guild. Many of the other factions will offer higher payment if you regularly work with them. For this reason, it is advised that players continue to work for the same faction, and try and avoid switching sides whenever possible. Gaining crime stat can hurt your reputation with legal factions, and character resets and patches do not usually wipe your reputation. Certain major system changes do result in full character wipes, which will reset your reputation. Next, I'm going to explain how to use the star map to navigate to where you actually want to be. Once you've accepted one of those fancy contracts from earlier, you have to actually get there. So let's first take off. We're going to fly a short distance away from the station, and then it will be time to plot our course. In order to do that, we're going to press F2 to bring up the star map on our Moby Glass. When we do, we'll see a map of the Stanton system. You can click and drag, or zoom, or double click on targets in order to move around the map. When you do, you will see a green dotted line. If you see this line, you can click on Set Course in order to plot a destination. When you double click on a planet, you will zoom into the planetary system and see the planet and its moons. When you double click on a planet or moon, you should see all of the sites and orbital stations for that moon. However, the star map does have issues where sometimes you will not actually be able to target any of the objects on the planet's surface or in its orbit. If this happens, press the Center on Me icon at the top right, then zoom back in using the mouse scroll, and this will usually resolve the issue. As you can see, we now see the green line and can then thus plot a route. Once you've worked around the star map's jank, you can click on Set Route in order to actually plot your destination. You'll notice in the top left that we have a list of 2 places when we set our destination to ArcCorp. This is because there is a planet in between us and our destination. When a straight line course is not available, the nav will plot a series of jumps in order to reach your destination. When jumping to subbodies of a planetary system, such as a moon, a space station, or a particular place on one of those bodies, it will generally be necessary to jump to the planet first, and then a series of sequential jumps to target the moon or specific station that you intend to arrive at. If you need to drop out of Quantum abruptly for whatever reason, simply press the B button again. You may need to press and hold in some cases. Certain quantum destinations, such as planetary targets in which you orbit around the planet, will not allow you to drop out by simply pressing B. However, in these cases, you can still simply press U, and this will still drop you out of Quantum. So now we've gone out, done our job, and we're coming back to home to the spaceport. We are arriving back at Lorville by Quantum, so we will come in a few kilometers over the city, and then we will fly down. Because the Aurora we are flying is actually quite maneuverable in light, I'm going to accelerate rapidly towards the city, but I strongly advise that you do not make a habit of flooring the pedal towards the ground, as it is an excellent way to kill yourself. This is doubly true if you are landing at night or if you are flying anything larger than a fighter class ship. Medium and large ships should generally decelerate to below SCM by about 10,000 kilometers off the ground. However, ships with good acceleration, like the Aurora, most of the racers, pretty much all fighters, can afford generally to wait to closer to about 5 kilometers off the ground. As soon as the ATC notice pops onto your HUD, Certain craft have access to actual VTOL functionality, although every ship has the actual button, but it doesn't do anything unless your ship has the appropriate engines. These ships include the Cutlass, the Freelancer, the Prospector, the Carrack, the Valkyrie, and a few others. Now that we are in range of the ATC, use your comlink to contact them, or preferably, use the hotkey that you rebound in order to instantly contact them without having to go through a series of menus. Once ATC has received your request, you will see this circle with a down arrow in it. This is your assigned landing pad. Head towards it. In Lorville and Area 18, all of the hangars are vertical takeoff. This is not generally a problem for ships such as the Aurora, but some larger ships tend to have very tight fits, so it is strongly advised, again, that you slow down. Using the third-person camera with F4 and rotating with Z can also be very helpful when coming in for these landings, because clipping the sides can lead to your ship spinning out of control, and in the case of the ships that are in danger of actually doing that, such as the Constellation, there is very little room to right yourself, and most likely you will have to abandon your ship. Make sure you press in order to deploy your landing gear again, or you will have a bad touchdown. Now, we need to repair and refuel our craft. Once again, bring up the mobi-glass by pressing F1, and go to the maintenance icon with the wrench. You will see options for repair, restock, refuel quantum, and hydrogen. Quantum fuel is what is used for your quick travel. Hydrogen fuel is what is used for your regular maneuvering. Restock will restock all missiles, ballistics, and countermeasures. Repair does exactly what it sounds like. Don't be surprised when you fly your ship around and it has a small amount of damage. This just occurs naturally as a result of wear and tear in space. Once you've selected these options, make sure to wait for them to complete before you get out of your seat. For ships with beds, if you lay down in the bed, you will receive the option to log out from it. When you do this, your ship should remain in the same relative position when you log back in. This means the same relative position on the planet or in space. However, if you are in space, orbital bodies may move around you, so if you are in the orbit of a planet when you log out, you may find yourself in the middle of nowhere as the planet will have shifted while you are logged off. Hopefully this video has helped some of you find your feet in the verse, and I look forward to flying with you in the future. If by some miracle you are someone who does not know me in real life and you are watching this video, I hope it was helpful for you as well. Do all the usual like, subscribe, etc. If people actually find my video useful, I may make some more like this, possibly covering other areas or some other game if people have interest in that. If you think of any common interactions, controls, or important things to know that I did not include in this video, please let me know and I will try and include them in an update.